Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing my TBR video for February, and I did really well on my TBR for January. I read so much this month, and not only did I read 7 books from my TBR, or not 7, 5 of the 7 from my TBR, but I also read books not on my TBR. Like, I read a lot. So for January, I ended up reading The Road, Insomnia, which I'm kind of still in the middle of Insomnia right now. I'm still working on it, but I did, like, technically read it. Lore Olympus 5, Confessions, and Sweet Talk, which was a romance. I did not read A Psalm for the Wild Built, which I actually started that book. I read about 2 chapters, and I just wasn't feeling it at that time. I still really want to read that book. Like, it was good, but I could just tell that it wasn't what I wanted at that moment, and I do want to save that book for a time when I think I'm really going to like it, because I think I'm going to like that book. I just don't want to read it when I'm not in the mood for it, you know? So I ended up DNFing it for now. And then I also didn't read it in 5 years, which is really surprising because I really wanted to read that this month, and I thought for sure that would be one of the books that I picked up first, but I didn't pick it up for some reason. But then I also read some books that weren't on my TBR this month. Like, I read September Doves, and my cat actually ate the cover of this, which my cat ate 2 covers this month. This book and freaking this book. Like, I can't leave my books on my bed, otherwise my cat will eat the covers off of them. So I read that book. I also read Eat, which was a graphic novel, and I read another graphic novel which was called I Will Not Die Alone, which is a graphic novel that I got off of Book Outlet, I believe. So I read a lot. I read a lot for my TBR, which is great. So here's my TBR jar. We're gonna pick 7 books. Last year I was doing 8 books, but this year I just want to do 7, just so I don't have too many on my TBR, and I can kind of work through those ones. And here's the thing, is I'm not gonna be so picky this year about, like, reading on my TBR. Like, if there's no books on my TBR that I feel like reading, then I'm just gonna read off of my TBR, and I feel like I will just be a little bit more, like, motivated to read, you know what I mean? But even with that said, I do tend to read on my TBR because I just like to. So if you see me reading books that aren't on my TBR, that is why. Let's go ahead and pick my first book. A book with a person on the cover. So I've gotten this one in the past, and the thing about this one that I like is it works really well for my taste in books. Like, I hate people on the cover, but romances tend to always have people on the cover, and I love reading romances, so it actually works for my reading taste, even though I hate people on the cover, which is ironic. So let me see what I have. Oh, I know. This is one that I've been kind of really wanting to read, and I was actually just looking at this last night, and I was like, I think I want to try to get this on my TBR. So this is Heard It in a Love Song by Tracy Jarvis Graves, and this is a random book that I saw in Book Outlet, and the reason that I was interested in this was because of the cover. It's just such a gorgeous cover. I love this cover so much, and it's like a romance, but it's a romance in older age. So it's about this rock star girl that used to be in this band, and then she kind of retires from that, and she decides she wants to be like a music teacher. So she goes and she gets a job at a school as a music teacher. And then I think she meets a guy there, and it's kind of like a romance, but like an older age romance, I think. So I'm really interested in this, and it's a pretty short book, but I'm curious if I'm gonna like this. It's blurbed by Taylor Jenkins Reid, so that's pretty cool. So I'll let you guys know what I think about this, but I'm kind of excited for this one. Okay, next book. Pick 2 prompts and combine them. And if you can't find one, close your eyes and choose one of the prompts. Okay, so I have to pick 2 prompts out of here, and I have to combine both of the prompts and pick with both prompts in mind. So this could be really good or really bad. We'll see. So there's 1, and then there's 2. Okay. An audiobook. Ooh, that narrows it down a lot because I don't have a ton of audiobooks in my Audible right now, but we'll see. A book with a title that you love. That's kind of a fun one. Oh, I like that one. I kind of want to put this back in there so I can get this one again. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Okay, so an audiobook with a title that I love. Okay, so basically what I'll do is I'll just pick the title that I love the most out of all my audiobooks. Let's see. So we've got Where the Missing Go. I don't like that title. It's kind of boring. The Cabin on Sauter Hill. That book actually sounds really good. I don't love the title, but that book sounds really good. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. That has been on my Audible forever. Don't Call It a Cult. Once Upon a Haunted Moor. The Plane That Wasn't There. Dolly Parton. Songteller. Let's see. The Indifferent Stars Above. That I like. That's a nice title. I think I'm gonna go with The Indifferent Stars Above, which I think is about, what is that about? Is that about the Donner Party? Let me see.
This is Audible.
Yeah, it's the Donner Party, the harrowing saga of the Donner Party. So I've heard this is really, 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 really good. It is 6 hours and 37 minutes, and I've heard really good things about this book. So I'm gonna pick The Indifferent Stars Above. That is what I'm picking for a good title. That is an audiobook. And it's interesting because I actually don't know that much about the Donner Party. Like, I know about it a little bit, but not that much. So I think that'll be really interesting. All right, the next one. Horror. Horror in February. Okay. Do I feel like a horror right now? Oh my gosh, you guys. House of Sky and Breath, or not Sky and Breath, House of Earth and Flame? House of Flame and Shadow comes out like at the end of this month. So I need to try to get that book on my list. But that is not a horror. But I just remembered that, so I'm gonna have to try to get that book on my list. Okay, so I have more to choose from than I thought I did, but these are the ones that I think I'm the most interested in. So we have Pen Pal. I've talked about this 1,000 times. I have The Haunting of the Gillespie House. Gillespie House? I think it's Gillespie. So that one, and then Nothing But Blackened Teeth, and then Stephen King's Pet Sematary. Now, I really want to read this one. I do. Like, it's just calling my name lately, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to get to this one if I have House of Flame and Shadow. Like, Flame and Shadow is going to take me a really long time to read. And if I read that this month, I'm not going to get to a majority of these. I'm just being honest, because I know it's going to take me a while to read. And I'm just not going to have time for this one. So I think I'm going to put that one back. I'm thinking I should pick a short one. I think I'm going to pick Nothing But Blackened Teeth. And the reason I'm picking this one is because it's short, and I've always been kind of curious about this one. So my sister-in-law read this, and she didn't love it, but I could love it. I don't know. I'm kind of a little nervous to read it because I don't want it to suck. Like, I feel like horror for me is either a hit or a miss. Because if a horror book doesn't scare me or doesn't disturb me, then I get really irritated because I'm like, this is supposed to be scary and it's not scary, and then I get kind of like, then I rate it really low, and I just get a little bit nervous with horror for that reason, because I want to be scared, I want to be disturbed, and if I'm not getting that, then I just get really mad and get really irritated. So hopefully this one disturbs me, hopefully this one scares me, but I feel like picking a short one is probably the smartest option since I'm probably gonna read House of Flame and Shadow. Okay, so that is book number 3, so I have 4 more books. Let's see. Okay. A thrifted book. Okay. Thrifted. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna do it. You guys are gonna be either excited for me or I don't know, but I've been putting this book off, and you guys know how I felt about this book for a really long time, but I'm gonna do it because well, maybe I'm gonna do it if I have time, but I'm gonna pick The Love Hypothesis. And as you guys know, I kind of thought like, oh, I'm never gonna read that, I'm never gonna read it, but then I found it at a thrift store and I was like, maybe I'll give it a try because everyone loves this book so much and I kind of feel like I'm missing out. So I'm gonna try it and hopefully I really, really like it. We'll see, but I've kind of been in this romance mood lately. I don't know why, and I feel like this will be a good one to pick up if I'm just like really in need of a romance. So I'm gonna go with The Love Hypothesis, and I'm gonna cross my fingers that I like it. 3 more books. 3 more. A hardback. Oh, that's perfect. I'll do House of Flame and Shadow because I'm gonna get that in hardback when I do get it, so that is going to be my pick for hardback. Perfect. Because that needed to be on this list, because the likelihood of me reading it in February is probably pretty high. So that is going to be my hardback choice. Draw 2, keep 1. Okay, so what I have to do is draw 2 prompts, and then I get to decide which one I want to keep. So this is actually good because there's one other book that I want to get on this list, and so I will pick whatever one that book fits with. Got 1, 2. A book with purple on the cover. I don't know if it has purple on the cover. A book that is Emery's favorite color, which is purple. Okay, let me see if the book that I'm reading has purple on the cover. I don't think it does. That's kind of purple. Is that purple? That's definitely purple. Like right here. Purple. That's purple. It's like a grayish purple, but it's purple. So it is Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. And I don't know what it is about this book, but this book, I've been wanting to read it, and this is on my top 20 books I wanted to read in 2024. And there's just something about this book that is drawing me to it. I don't know why. The synopsis just makes me curious. It's about this girl who gets stuck in a snowstorm in her car, and she gets in a car accident, and then the next thing she knows, she wakes up in this like haunted manor, and there's this man taking care of her, and she's kind of like creeped out, but he ends up being like really nice. I think it's kind of like a horror romance type of thing. I don't know. It sounds really good. And Darcy Coates is a great author for people that like don't have really like high attention spans. She doesn't write a lot of like fluff. She doesn't write a lot of description, and I'm just kind of in the mood for something like that. So that is the choice I'm going to pick. And that was purple. You can try to argue with me, but it totally was purple. Okay, I have one more. A book that starts with A or the. That's a good one. Okay, let me see what I can find. All right, so I'm gonna pick a graphic novel for this one. This is called The Holy Ghost, and it is just this cute little book. I love the cover of it. And this is a like philosophical book about this little ghost that is the Holy Ghost, and basically it just poses a bunch of like philosophical questions about life, and they're just like little mini comics. It's not like a graphic novel, it's more like a comic collection. And it says, is there a heaven? What is the point of it all? Do we even matter? This collection of thought-provoking, humorous comic strips is a series of conversations between a squirrel, a badger, and a friendly blue ghost that may or may not be 1/3 of the Holy Trinity. Charming, witty, and at times poignant, yet never holier than thou, New York Times bestseller and award-winning illustrator John Hendricks tackles some of life's greatest questions. Whether you consider yourself faithful or a non-believer, these delightfully off-kilter comics deliver laughter, comfort, and philosophical musings with humble, honest spirit, and just the right dose of playful irreverence. So, you guys know me, I love a good philosophical book or graphic novel, and I feel like this will be totally up my alley. And plus it's short, and you guys know I'm reading like a giant book this month, and the likelihood of me getting to most of these is fairly low if I read that, so I think this will be a really good addition to my month. So I'm feeling really good about this TBR. I think it's a good TBR, and if I don't get to House of Flame and Shadow this month, then I feel like I have some really good books to read instead of that one if I just decide not to read it this month. But let's do a little overview. So the first one is Heard It in a Love Song, and this is a book with a person on the cover. And then the next book is The Holy Ghost, and this is a book that starts with the or a. Then we have The Love Hypothesis, which is a thrifted book, so we got that one. We've got Nothing But Blackened Teeth, which is my horror book. We've got all the Indifferent Stars Above, is that what it was called? For a good title and an audiobook. I had to combine the two. Then we have House of Earth. How many times am I going to pronounce this stupid thing wrong? House of Flame and Shadow, which is my hardcover book. And then I have The Voices in the Snow, which was my book with purple on the cover. Or Emery's favorite color was the same. So that is the book I have for that one. So really good choices. I'm excited for this month. Hopefully I can get to a lot of them. I have a feeling I won't, but we're gonna try. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you guys have a fabulous day. Bye!